This is the end time principle. This is what I want to kind of build around. This is what's going on. There's more going on than just the end time principle, but the end time principle is going on. Here's what it says. If you will not watch, saying this to the church at Sardis, if you will not watch, I will come upon you as a thief, and you will not know what hour I will come upon you. Okay? That is end time principle number one. But there's a corollary to that. In this case, the opposite is also true. That's what he's implying to that church. So here is another end time principle that you can take to the bank, cash it, deposit it. It's yours. You own it. It's truth. If you will watch, I will not come upon you as a thief, and you will know what hour I come upon you. That is a truism. That is absolutely what we should expect, to know the hour, not the 60 minutes, but the general time frame of his coming. He wants us to know that, and he is moving right now in that direction so that we will know the hour of his coming. That's promised to us if you watch. What are we watching for? Him. If you will not watch, I will come upon you. If you will not watch, I will come upon you as a thief. Watch for him then. If you will watch, I will not come upon you as a thief. Watch for him. If you say, I'm watching, what are you watching for? Oh, the building of the third temple. You're not doing what he said to do. Now, I'm not saying your salvation is at an issue here, but there's a problem. There's a problem. It's one of the ways you can check. Do I have a problem eschatologically? Well, are you watching for him? Well, no, I think there's going to be a number of things that have to take. Then you aren't doing what he told you to do. Watch for him. There are three examples of things that I want to show you that prove that strange things are afoot, because that's exactly what we should expect, knowing this principle, that as we begin to learn these things, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. He has not done this in the past. He is making that principle known to the end time church, the church on the earth, right before the events begin to play out. We should expect some strange things to happen to help us understand that he is at the door. That's exactly what's happening. And I want to give you three pieces of evidence. The first is, well, you can do with it whatever you want. The second two are the more empirical, the more tangible, the ones that you can kind of pick up on your own and look at and go, yeah, you know what, I think stands right. The first one, a little more subjective, but it's true and it's powerful. And it's the story of what happened with this channel. Now, when I started this channel, I had absolutely no intention whatsoever of discussing the book of Revelation, because at the time I started this channel, and it was my explanation as to one of the explanations as to why we were seeing, so many of us were seeing the 11:11 sign. I had no intention to move from there into the book of Revelation, none, because at that time I had given up on the book of Revelation. I said, that's it. I know one thing about the book of Revelation. After all my study, after all my listening and reading and watching and listening to people, I knew one thing. All of the experts didn't know what they were talking about. That's the only thing I knew. They were wrong. But I didn't have the right answer. I just knew they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, I even read a scholar who broke down every single word in the Greek in the book of Revelation and gave us, as we went through it, what other scholars said about the passage and what he believed that passage meant. And when I got through with it, I said, he doesn't know either. And so I said, I'm walking away from it. I almost went Martin Luther on the book of Revelation. When he was translating the Bible into German, he left out the book of Revelation. He stuck it in the appendix. He couldn't figure it out. And he was so lost, and he saw that everybody else was so lost. He said, I don't think it belongs in the Bible. Well, I knew that it belonged in the Bible. That was my problem. That was my problem. I knew it. I saw the brilliance of the Holy Spirit. I just couldn't get to it. It was like someone said, Stan, I'm going to give you $1 billion. $1 billion. I don't want $1 billion, to be honest with you. But let's say someone said, I swear to you, and signed a contract saying, I'm going to give you $1 billion. And then there's a knock at the door and the $1 billion arrived, but it's inside some sort of strange metal box that no one can cut through. It's there. You just can't get to it. No one could. People would say, I could get into that box for you. And they'd come over and they'd drill and drill and drill and hack and saw and do everything they thought they could, and they couldn't get to it. I guess I was wrong. I couldn't get. That's how I saw the book of Revelation. I know the $1 billion is in there. We can't get to it. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to focus on the Olivet Discourse and Old Testament prophecy, because at least I'll have some truth. That's where I was. If someone had said, a year and a half from now, Stan, after I started this channel, you're going to be doing a series of videos on the book of Revelation, its structure, and some important new revelations that you do not have at this point, I would have said, oh, come on. How's that going to happen? How's that going to happen? The only way that could happen if God got involved. And that's what happened. And that's what happened. I want you to understand this. Everything that I've brought forward in this channel has been as a result of, I went to him and said, I don't know what this means. I don't understand it. And then I waited. And then he would always, or not always, but most of the time, lead me to an answer. And then I said, I got to make a video about it. But if he doesn't help me, I have no clue. And it's remarkable to me as I look back on this video, all of the things that he has shown me, and twice he did use a supernatural event, twice. But most of the times it comes from a different, more organic way so that I get the answer to what I was just praying about. The point I'm trying to make, and by the way, what's really fascinating is always the information that I get is about our situation now. It's never about the situation in the next phase, the 7 trumpets and so forth, the saving of Israel. I don't have anything from there. I have nothing from there. I've been given nothing. I look at that and it's just as foggy and cloudy as it always was. I have no insight there. I only have what he gave me. And when this channel reaches that point where I've done videos on everything he gave me, I stop. I know I've done that at least once publicly, or I go, okay, that's it. Let's wait and see what he does. Maybe he'll show me something else. Maybe he'll put me in the line of fire that somebody else has some information and I'll report that, but I'm done. People sometimes in the comment section, Stan, what's your opinion on the third temple or this and that or this? I have none. I have none. I'm the village idiot. This channel exists because he has begun to answer prayer, not just for me. This is happening everywhere. Watch the comment section of this video. You will see people come forward and go, Stan, the exact same thing has happened to me. I'm nothing special. Nothing. I've got nothing except he now is answering prayer when before he wasn't. What happened? What happened? And the prayers that he is answering are all pointing to one thing. He is coming soon. He is honoring the principle. But I think there's something even beyond the principle that's going on, and I think you're going to find that exhilarating. And by the way, just so you know, I have 1, maybe 2 videos planned, and then that's it. Once again, the videos will have reached the level of information he's given me. I don't have anything else. That's it. I'll have to wait. Maybe he'll continue it, maybe he won't. I'm just a bike messenger. If he doesn't give me a little packet to put in my pouch, I have nothing. So we'll wait and see. And if he says, Stan, your services are no longer required, I've got other bike messengers I need to attend to, I'll say thank you for the last year and 8 months, because it's been spectacular. What you have shown me and my channel family, spectacular, because I learned right alongside you. He has changed. He is answering prayer and disseminating information. Something is going on. Now, here are the 2 other pieces of evidence that I think are even stronger than that, because you don't need me in these. You can see these for yourself. David W. Lowe's earthquake resurrection connection. I'm not going through it. Don't worry. I've taken you through why that's true a dozen times. If you're new to this channel, go ahead, see some other previous videos if you're truly looking for truth, because David W. Lowe brought truth. Resurrections have an earthquake, period. End of discussion. When I heard that interview that he gave to Derek Gilbert a couple of years ago, I didn't know that. Derek Gilbert, a great Bible student, and his wife, a great Bible student. They hadn't heard it. The reason they had him on is because they saw the book and read it and said, we got to get this guy on. And so he comes on and says, there's a connection between earthquakes and resurrections. I was out walking. I'll never forget it. And I stopped the interview. I said, is that true? I think it might be true. And I went home to look and make sure it was true, because I knew if that's true, that's an icebreaker to get inside the book of Revelation. That's a way of getting past the impenetrable layer of ice surrounding Revelation. You'll need a lot more work, but it's like if you were standing in a gold mine. You were told, you're in a gold mine. Where am I? It's dark, I can't see. You're in a gold mine. What good does it do you? And someone hands you a miner's cap. You turn on, and now you at least can see. You got work to do, but at least you can see. That's what the earthquake resurrection connection does when you see it. But that's not why I'm talking about it here. What I want you to see is this. How in the world was that possible that we didn't see it before now? He's a self-published author. I think that book came out in 2007 or something. So 15 years, it's leaked out to where it is now. To people who are searching will find a way to hear that. And it's a remarkable icebreaker of understanding the book of Revelation, to the point that if you don't understand that, you can't understand the book of Revelation. That's how important it is. But how is that possible? The first thing you'll say when you come upon that truth is, wow. The second thing is, how did we miss that? Folks, this is the most read book in all of history. The second most read book is so far back in the pack, you can't even see it from here. The most studied, the most taken apart, institutions built to do nothing but study this book, groups put together to do nothing but study this book. Churches exist in many places just to study this book. The smartest men and women who have ever lived, many of them, read that book. The greatest detective minds who were trained to see trends and spot clues missed it. Everybody. 2,000 years. A book that has been dissected, bisected, looked at in every possible way. And no one saw that when there's a resurrection, there's an earthquake, and how important that information is. What does that tell you? I'll tell you what it means. The Holy Spirit cloaked that information. He's got his battle plan printed, published 2,000 years ago, and he cloaked some information so that the enemy can't have it. He wasn't keeping it from us. He was making sure that the enemy couldn't use that to know where we are. Because you can track where we are once you have that information. He made sure that no one had it. We would read that passage in those various passages that are linked resurrection to earthquakes, and it will not dawn on us. Over and over through the centuries, it didn't dawn on anybody. Read the greatest minds, photographic memories, people who can remember everything they read. And then the layer above them, people who you can just go up to and go, August 13th, 1994, what were you wearing and what did you have to eat that day? And they'll tell you. Those people didn't see it. It's impossible. The Holy Spirit, our century, in our time, has uncloaked that information. Why did he do it? Well, to fulfill this principle here, for sure. But there's something else. There's something else going on. Last piece of evidence. And I could add more, but we'll end it here. The first supernatural download that I had two. Most information does not come that way. Okay, there's nothing special about me. That does not make me a prophet. All of the information that he's given me supernaturally on the two occasions was clarification of what is in the Bible, and other people already knew it. I've never been the first, and I've never been the only one with information that I bring to you. Never. I've never given you information outside the Bible. That's what prophets would do. God would tell prophets something that they didn't know, and they'd go into town and tell the people. That's not what's going on here. He gave me clarification of what is in the Bible so that we could see it clear. Well, so I could see it clear to bring it to you. That's all that's going on here. He wants that. And the first piece of supernatural information, the three event lines. I'm not going through them either. I've gone through them ad nauseum in previous videos. But once you see the event lines, the first thing that's going to come to your mind is, how did we miss that? I mean, the God line that starts in heaven, ends in heaven, and the middle part is all about what's going on in heaven. As a matter of fact, the angel who blows the seventh trumpet, another angel comes down and says, when he blows that trumpet, that's it. He blows the trumpet. We don't even know what happened on earth. We just know there's a celebration in heaven. They're just celebrating. It's over. Done. Mystery of God completed. We win. And at the very end, he goes, oh yeah, by the way, there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and earthquake, and great hail. Just so you know. It was all about heaven. A beginning, a middle, and an end. And then it switches to the enemy. It's all about Satan. There he is in the Revelation 12 sign, wanting to gobble up the woman's seed. There he is getting thrown out of heaven. There he is rising the beast out of the sea. There he is with the false prophet. There he is Babylon. There he is the number of his name. There he is going to Israel for the battle of Armageddon. And there is his end. It's all about him. And all the great story makers, all the great literary people throughout history who understood beginnings, middles, and ends didn't spot that. If they had spotted that, it would have made our job, infinitely easier to know where we are. Why didn't we know? He cloaked it. That's the only explanation. He cloaked it to fulfill this principle and something else. Here's what I believe that something else is. Because he's giving the enemy, remember the enemy, he doesn't know what's going on. He wouldn't have worked so hard to crucify Christ if he knew what was going on. The Holy Spirit has cloaked this valuable information to keep him from knowing it. But now suddenly it's being released. And yes, it fulfills the principle that he promised us. But it's also got to be done in such a way that it doesn't harm the battle plan. And so what I think is going on here is it has become a foregone conclusion. There's nothing he can do. Chess games, sporting events, all reach that point sometimes. Not all the time, but most of the times they reach a point where it's a foregone conclusion and people start leaving the stadium. It's over. Yeah, they're still playing on the field, but it's over. That's what God is saying to us right now. It's over. That's what he's saying to say. It's over. The number is coming in. He is at the door. That's why when we open the book of Revelation, we are joining that moment. The foregone conclusion moment. And so Jesus is getting our attention, snapping his fingers, going, look, listen to me. Watch for me. Sardis, if you don't watch, you won't know the hour. If you do watch, you will know the hour. Watch. This is it. This is it. That's why he tells the church of Philadelphia, hold fast what you have, that no one may take your crown. They tell us there are 5 crowns. So first of all, what crown is he referring to? I think he's referring to this crown. One of the 5 crowns mentioned in the New Testament. Finally, there is laid up for me, says Paul, the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day. And not to me only, but also to all who have loved his appearing. Given the context of what's going on in those 7 letters into the church at Philadelphia, I believe that's the crown he's talking about. He's saying, hold fast. This would be a horrible time, this close to the end, for you to walk away from watching and watching for my appearing. This would be the worst possible time because it's about to happen. This would be the worst possible time any Christian out there could go, I'm done with this. I'm done. I'm tired of being disappointed. I get my hopes up that it's going to happen and then it doesn't happen. You know what? It'll happen when it happens. I got a life to lead. I'm not walking away from the faith, but I'm just tired of watching. I'm not going to do it anymore. I got a family, I got a career, and half the people in those places think I'm crazy anyway. I'm going to get back to my life. He'll come when he comes. Well, I'm not saying that person isn't saved. There goes the crown. That's what he's telling the church at Philadelphia. And I looked at the other 4 crowns. This is the only crown I have a shot at. The only crown. Trust me on that. I got one shot at one crown, and it's this one. And I'm not really that focused on the crown, but I am focused on doing what he says to do. And what he's saying to do is clear, and it's strange. And he wants us to understand that it's strange in heaven right now. It's silent right now. It's a special time. It's a special time on earth. And the enemy knows it, and that's why he's calling in all of the people who he controls, whether they know it or not. They're acting irrational. It doesn't make any sense. He's in a panic mode to stop that number because he knows once it comes in, it's moving day for him. He will be thrown out of heaven as the church, the Gentiles. The church for 2,000 years will be received into heaven. And the one thing he wants us to know is this principle is being fulfilled in our time right before your very eyes. We can know the hour, the general time of his coming, and he's making it so clear none of us are with an excuse.